This is Howard Chaykin, and my feeling is, if you ask me, I could write a book about the way you walk and whisper and look. What am I selling?
11 o'clock comics.
11 o'clock comics is the place to be and the time to be there.
He's all primed and ready for New York. That's what it is.
Oh, he's ready.
Yeah.
Excite! See you mofos in 24 hours.
Funkin' man.
I'm really interested in seeing Sanford again. I'd love to be around that man.
He just exudes joy, and you get so excited. Like, they should just put him like right by the front door, and then you're just going to be psyched and stoked and amped for the rest of the week.
Him and Jason Momoa. You remember the ladies coming out of the Jason Momoa booth?
It's true.
Yeah. It's like, what's that squishy sound?
They needed to do with the mop-up over there and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But, I mean, Sanford's a teddy bear, but I would not want to see Sanford pissed.
Oh, no.
Because I think he'd mess you up. Not me, because I love him, but one of you.
Sure,
Yes.
Yes. Hey, everybody. What's good? It's 11 o'clock comics, episode 952. And I'm Vince B.
Hoo-wee. Yes, you are. I am David A. Price.
This is true, and I'm Evil Knievel.
Good Lord.
Jesus. Most misspelled first name in the history of the human.
Yes.
You're not Evil Knievel. You're Jason Wood, everybody. I would assume that Mr. Knievel would be voting red.
Oh, for real?
I would think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
I might have to redo that then.
Yeah, that's okay. But you know what? It's all good because I have a solution to your comic budgetary problems.
I bet you do.
I do. It's called cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Everything you need to know is in the name. If you're looking for an OGN or a omnibus edition, who doesn't want an omnibus edition? A nice big old chunky triangle era Superman omnibus edition. Or manga or trade paperbacks or art books and anything. Go to cheapgraphicnovels.com because they have the stuff you want. They have it at the price you want to pay. You're not going to balk at the prices there because they're low. And once you find something, if you're a first-time customer, this is, you're going to find something, of course. You're going to buy it, and you're going to get an email confirmation on that order, alerting you to the fact that Cheap Graphic Novels have received your order, and it's in process. You're going to reply to that email saying, I would never have known about the magical place that is cheapgraphicnovels.com if not for 11 o'clock comics. And Max is going to give you free shipping on your next order. It's insane. Savings, 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 a whole stack of savings. Just go there. cheapgraphicnovels.com. They love you almost as much as we do.
Almost. And they were repeating from last week. There were 3 books in yesterday's new release email that I thought were worth mentioning.
I guess this is a thing now. This is awesome.
It's Dap's thing. He's got a lot
Yeah,
of these
good.
things. Just run with it, dog.
I like it.
So there's the Mimetic, the Apocalyptic Trilogy Deluxe Edition hardcover slipcase.
Wow.
This is neat.
You love this,
right? That's why I have it here. This was a highlight. This was something that Vince and I discussed. Each of the 3 books. This was all three series, written by James Finney IV and art by Eric Donovan. So this collects Mimetic 1 through 3, Cognetic 1 through 3, and Eugenic 1 through 3. 25% off. It can be yours for $52.49. You've got this might be neat for those of you who are going to be in New York this weekend for the convention. There is the Felipe Lebon Gallery is the Hell, Ink, and Water, The Art of Mike Mignola hardcover. This is actually Max's pick from the email. 30% off, $20.99. It's a hardcover catalog for the gallery show that's happening until, I think, before It ends in a couple of weeks, or maybe the weekend after this one. But time's a wasting. If you haven't made it there, get over there to see it. But
he really wants to go to this thing, Jason.
I didn't say I really want to go.
You really want to go.
Dude, it's so weird that you're bringing this up because I get a text from my boss this weekend being like, this looks like something you might be into. He was at the gallery.
Everybody but Vince.
You like this shit, don't you?
Like, that's Mike Mignola. I'm like, and I snapped a picture of all my Hellboy hardcovers.
Picture it didn't happen. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, it's not that I don't want to go. I mean, I'd be happy to go. If both of you decide we're going, we'll go.
Right, yeah, if the mood strikes is great. But I mean, it was just...
I think his art, as published, is going to be pretty similar to the art you're going to see in the originals.
I mean, minus the colors on the wall, but yes, and you're right. I mean, it'd be neat to see in that environment.
Is ink fetish though?
but
they're just also, shapes, but the dude. Recent,
it's all just. But I know it's true. It is Mignola. It's not like but it's what I just the reason why I made a point to bring it up is that walking, the gallery is only 15 minutes away from Javits, so it's not like.
We're going.
It wasn't like we were going to have. So I'm just saying, but it's not. If it happens, it happens. I'm not.
No, we're going. Unless it's $100, we're going.
It's a museum, and the third item that I found pretty neat is the Moon and Serpent Bumper Book of Magic hardcover, 30% off, $34.99. Alan Moore and Steve Moore, art by greats like Kevin O'Neill and Steve Parkhouse and Rick Veitch and Melinda Gebbie and others. So definitely when you get over to CGN's site, check on the this week's releases. You can also take a peek at next week's releases as well, but you'll be able to see these 3 books and a whole bunch of others that dropped this week.
Nice. Jason, did you took a picture of the Bumper Book of Magic? Does that mean that it's in your possession?
Not only is the Book of Magic in my possession, it is in my possession with Mr. Alan Moore's signature inside.
Mine too.
Yeah. I think I did not go that route. That's nice. Cool? It's nice though. Yeah. It's nice to have. Did he draw?
Closest thing I'm ever going to come to having something from him. Like it's not
right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. But like, don't. Okay, and you haven't read it yet.
I have not.
I just flipped through it. I haven't.
It arrived today. It arrived.
Yeah, I'm not getting mine till about a week or more. So
okay.
Let's tamp that shit down a little bit.
All right,
Briv.
Just saying. When Dap was going through the mimetic, cognetic, eugenic, I was thinking that sounds a lot like Dylan. It sounds like a Dylan lyric. Okay.
I should have mumbled it. You're right.
No, see, that's bullshit. No. Don't perpetuate falsehoods. Dylan enunciates perfectly in his songs. God. I'm drinking. Lord, do I need it? This is more of the swill that they call black and tan. It's all gone. This is it. No more.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you'll have some good stuff tomorrow night.
I'm sure I will. And for the people listening at home, tomorrow night it has become tradition to kick back at Jason's house and record a long-ass, rambling stream of consciousness. You call it whatever you want to call it, session, and we bounce that back to the patrons. It's just another little way of adding to the tier that is the Book of the Month tier. So you get the Book of the Month episode, and you get an hours and hours and hours long thing that'll probably drive you batshit crazy if you listen to it in one sitting. You get stuff. So there you go. Another reason to check out the Patreon page.
And if you are on the TikTok, you might also get some live video from the occasion as well.
Can they ask questions?
Yes.
Oh, let's do that maybe.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yep.
Okay. I like it.
That's social media.
I am actually having a little something tonight. Having some Oswego Hills Tempranillo. I'm all about the Riojas Tempraneos. It's my go-tos these days, and it's very nice. Beth picked it out, so all credit to her. But it's hitting the spot.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I am enjoying because it was chilly today here in Westchester. So this is some Michter's straight rye whiskey with a splash of seltzer
And an orange peel.
No orange peel. It's not
Why? Why no orange peel?
Because I have no orange.
Okay. I'll allow it, I guess.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is the big deal. The yearly trek to New York City to engage in what is called New York Comic Con 2024.
Yes.
Dap and I freewheel it. We just go in and have fun. Jason has an agenda. And
no, I don't have an agenda.
You don't have anything lined up at all. I find that very hard to believe.
I mean, yeah, I have some things, but it's nothing like...
but what is your list of some things? Is it at least 10?
Let's see.
Dude, that's an agenda.
Well...
No, it kind of is an agenda.
I said a dozen. 12.
Oh, so that's an agenda plus 2. So you're expecting pieces done by whom?
Well, I wanted to take it easy because I know we cherish our ability to come and go as we please because New York gets crazy. So this was not like a Heroes where I'm just trying to maximize and optimize and grind. So I really focused on pieces from people I don't have anything from, which is a fairly small list even for a place like New York. So I have pieces coming from Alex Linz, Carlos Nieto. I hope I'm saying this name right. I believe it's a nom de guerre. Femi Muntancia, Francisco Perosini, Ivan Fiorelli, Jacob Phillips. What? Yes, the
Love
Jacob
it.
Phillips. Kayla Valerio. I have something from her before, but something I'm getting another from her. Lorenzo Tameta, Martin Simmons. What up?
Nice. Yeah, that's hot.
Moby Dick. He's doing the Moby Dick for me.
Oh,
That's the big piece, actually. That's by far and away the most expensive piece I'm getting. Maxi Dallo and Mog Park. So yeah, a pretty light list though. I don't really have any, and I'm not gonna be like running around trying to get on people's lists and stuff. I pretty much all these were pre-ordered, and for the most part they're all done because all of these artists were like sending me like, oh, here I'm done already, So
nice.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
so you've seen them?
I've seen some of them.
He prefers to see them. He's not like me.
No,
he prefers
I don't.
to see them.
No, it's one of those things where like the artist will. I mean, every time an artist asks me, "Hey, I'm done the piece. Do you want to see it first?" I say no.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes they don't, and they just say, "Hey, here's your piece," And so, I mean, I'm not like I don't get bent out of shape one way or the other, but I'd like to not see them until I'm there, just for an extra little surprise. But
it's like a blind date.
I've seen like half of them so far.
That's
I haven't seen the Moby Dick. I haven't seen Alex Linz, who's doing the Namor book right now. So I wanted to do something fun with him. So he's doing a Stingray versus Orca, which should be fun. But I haven't seen it. It's done. It's done. But yeah,
it's not the characters either. It's the actual animals.
When you say Stingray, do you know the artist that immediately pops into my mind?
No.
I'm asking. Do you know?
No, I don't. No.
George Perez.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Oh,
that
nice.
2-in-1 cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew it. That warms my heart.
So yeah, so nothing too crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's. I have to say the game has changed from when we first started going to New York back in the day. It's so much more organized now. I mean, we get deluged with emails once we register as press about like. And it's not just like, hey, our thing comes to our booth. It's like, do you want to meet with these creators? Do you want to be at our booth? It's very, very comprehensive, I have to say. So almost to the point where I sometimes feel bad that we're not like lining up just a crap ton of interviews with these people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but a lot of it, I mean, let's be real. A lot of it is stuff that does not directly play into what we do.
100%.
hey, this new card set's coming out on the Elves of Gloom Hollow or whatever. Like, no, that's nice, but we don't. That's not what we do.
Right.
I made that up on the fly.
It was good. It was good.
Thanks. But so Dap and I, we just shamble Walking Dead style through all the stuff and look for cool comics.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
Do you have a list?
Hell no. Whatever.
No. I mean, there are things I'm on the lookout for. Amazing Man Special number 3, but I mean, for the most part, because this is, and we've said it over the years countless times. Heroes, Baltimore, those are your shopping shows if you're looking for back issues and good deals. I'm in no rush to buy a 30-issue series. The Losers for $500. Like, that's not. There's zero reason to do that at New York Comic Con. I go to New York Comic Con obviously to hang out with these two fools, but to also see original art, see creators we don't get to see all that often, shake hands, thank people for the work they do. But yeah, Jason has. We know it's not even doesn't have to be an itinerary or an agenda, but we know Jason's there for the art. So he's got Artist Alley. He's going to hit up those people, and then Vince and I will wander upstairs, and we'll all meet up throughout the weekend and make sure, because we got to keep a lookout. If Jason's ever interested in something on the retail floor, Vince and I have to be aware of where things are. So yeah,
and we'll be hanging. You?
No.
No.
So you go.
I was going to say, it would be nice if we can come away with some bumpers, and if we could come away with some. And by the way, I think at Heroes we did a nice job because we kind of got bumpers. Like, we didn't all have to be together to get the bumpers. So collectively.
Well, Dap and I were working. I don't know what you were doing, but
I got as many bumpers as you did at Heroes.
Is it really though?
Yes, though.
The one bumper we need, if we don't do anything else at New York Comic Con, if we don't come home with a Sean Phillips, the shit's gonna get nasty.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get it.
Well, I mean, you're paying him for something. I'm sure he'll do a bumper.
No, Jacob paid his son.
Even Jacob. That's fine. Hey,
I was going to say Sean's not going to be there. By the way, Sean.
Oh, well, that's cool. Jacob.
Well, maybe Jacob can call Dad.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
can you call your father?
Pops, can you get it? We'll definitely get a Jacob bumper though, for sure.
Nice.
Yes,
sure. Nice.
Yeah.
How hot would that be?
Use my phone. Call your dad.
We'll FaceTime him.
Yes.
That's funny. And Martin Simmons would be really cool.
Yes, for sure. I was going to say, I would love to lay the groundwork, as we're wont to do occasionally, to set up a couple interviews with some people we've never talked to before. Because, and I'm not complaining, but the year is the year. But I think we were pretty light on the interviews this year. Like not like because we tried and couldn't succeed. We just didn't really make it a priority this year. And that's fine. I mean, again, I'm not mad at that, but I do enjoy getting to talk to creators that we like, that especially ones we haven't ever talked to before. So I'd love to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I think I should have prompted this before the chat, but I was thinking like an updated view of like who we'd love to chat with. And again, that's achievable, right? Like I'm not like no Alan Moore, no Grant Morrison, but I'd love to have Tynan on the show.
That'd be good. Books. That'd be really good. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I think he's like not averse to interviews and social media. So
I just don't. And I agree with everything you're saying, but I just don't want it to become a status thing. Like you see it in the podcast arena where a lot of people will have somebody on, and I think the first time I've ever seen this played out was when CGS got Dave Sim.
Sure.
And
I was going to say Suntress and the Bendis tapes, right? Like,
and it becomes, after a while, it becomes a get. Did you see who we got? Like, I'm not playing that game. We talk to people.
We're 16 years in. That's not our style. We're not doing that.
Right. No, but we speak to people we're genuinely interested in, curious about their process and their work and their lives and their tastes and all that stuff. I just wouldn't, like, if we had an opportunity to interview Kirkman, I would have to think really hard on it. I mean, yes, it would be a quote get, but I mean, I admire and respect Kirkman, but do I really want to talk to him for an hour?
That's fine. You can sit quietly while I interview him for 90 minutes.
Okay, then.
Because I would absolutely jump at the chance to have Kirkman on. He's done so many things we've enjoyed.
Yes, he has. He has. And
I think we forget, like, and especially with the fucking with the Energon universe, like we'd have so much to talk about.
Okay.
I
mean, if I had to pick, I would.
Domino Vince.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we had the choice of Kirkman or Eric Larson, shit, I would go with Larson in a second.
We already had Larson on, though.
So what? He should be on every week.
Never too much Larson.
Yep.
Okay. So we. No. I love Larson. I think it would be great. It's very unlikely to happen, but it would be awesome if we eventually had all the Image founders on.
It'd be cool.
We've had Larsman, we've had Kirk, we've had Liefeld,
We've had Rob. Yep.
That's it though, right? Like, so we're two of
I think
seven.
chances of getting
Todd, haven't had Jim.
Yeah, I think
Mark.
chances of getting Jim Lee are slim, and even when
I think we can ask Jim Valentino when he opens the door for us at the convention.
True.
that's not nice, dude.
That's fucked up.
we
I'm
can-
sorry.
I mean,
I love Valentino to death. So I mean,
If we
that was
really tried, I think we could get everybody on the show but Jim Lee.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd love to talk to
We
DiDio.
could get the Todd Father on. We could get Todd Father on, but it would be
You
like
could talk to DiDio.
it would be like a 20-minute hit. He'd be on for like 20 minutes. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
But
I'd have
I
a
think we
problem
could
with
make it
that.
happen.
I would. I mean, I think Todd out
Well,
of
it's
all
the
of
Roy Thomas factor, right? So
yeah, no, he's lost his luster with me because
McFarlane.
yeah,
has?
Todd has
Oh.
lost. I mean, I'm not besmirching the work. The work will always be there. It will always be great. His work. But the feather he thinks is in his cap, this Spawn universe stuff is just, yeah, it's not for me.
I have to say, even though I'm not going to be on the grind this con, like New York Comic Con's Artist Alley is always absurd. Like it is really, I don't think I mean, as much as Heroes is my favorite con and it's so art centric, just in terms of like sheer number of creators, New York is insane. Like it is, like if you looked at the list, there are over 500 creators on this list. It's just,
It's a lot of people.
it really is stunning, honestly. Yeah, it's quite something, and it's from up and down the stack of generations and styles. So there really are people that anyone attending would be excited to see if they go to Artist Alley. Because I'm always like, it's weird. Like Artist Alley is always crowded. Well, it's crowded on Friday, Saturday, at least. But like, we also know that a humongous percentage of the people that go to New York Comic Con don't set foot in Artist Alley, or
No.
if they do, it's just a quick walkthrough, just because they're curious about what it's about, and they don't really even
Yep.
like talk to anybody. And I'm like, that's so crazy to me, because like this is it. This is the engine of the creativity. This is the people that make the magic.
But the draw for New York Comic Con is not exclusively comics anymore. So I completely understand if cosplay or other forms of media are your thing, TV shows, movies, all that stuff. There's plenty at New York Comic Con to indulge yourself in. But for us and everyone in our circle, like it's about the comics. And I think they do a really great job of presenting a wide section of comic creators, both old and new. So I think they're doing a great job in that area.
Random name that's going to be there that I hope to get a chance to chat with, Patrick Horvath, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Sweet.
Nice.
Love to meet him. Like that's definitely someone I was like, oh, that's cool, because I mean, I don't know that I knew much about him before that. But like you said, I'm really looking forward to meeting Martin Simmons.
Yep.
Is it Simons or Simmons? I don't even know.
I would say Simmons, but you're talking to me. So I mangle everything. We get to catch up with Ian Bertram.
Yes,
which is going to be great.
It's going to be weird seeing Mahmood tabled at Essential Sequential. That's where he's at now.
As long as he's making money, I don't care where he's tabled.
Oh yeah, no, I talked to him. He and Jason are a good fit together, I think.
Yeah,
I think he.
He's tight with a lot of that crew.
Jason's stable, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good crew, and Jason's a consummate pro. He handles his business. So
we'll talk
Joe
to.
Quesada's going to be there. I've never met Joe Quesada, or at least I've never had a conversation with him. I would love to shake his hand for sure.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'd love to see him again.
We'll get to speak to Nick Dragata, who figured out the secret to success is basically Batman. So,
oh my God, dude. Yeah, I mean, no sooner do Dap and I rave about absolute Batman #1. And we mentioned, I think, last week that Felix was doing the art drop. And I don't think I'm talking out of school here because it's all public information, but the art drop was a sellout, which is not unusual for Felix. He often sells things out, but it was the largest modern issue art drop ever. And it generated over $350,000.
Yeah.
That is a gobsmacking amount of money.
It is. It is. Again, it's awesome when people we know are successful. I love that.
Absolutely.
For a creative individual to get that kind of a windfall from something that the product of their hands, like that's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Brown's going to be there.
And wow. We haven't talked to him in years.
I know. Jeff Lemire is going to to be there. We haven't seen Jeff in person in years. At least since the pandemic. Like you said, Jacob Phillips is going to be a highlight. Dap, Jackson Lansing is going to be there. I assume Colin will be there as well, but I definitely want to meet those dudes because I love their stuff. Yeah. Vince, your boo, Hayden Sherman is going to be there.
For real. No kidding.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Gotta get a drop. Gotta see about them coming on the show for sure. I got them flagged.
That would be a Chris Farley moment for me for sure.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yep. Yes. I'm just scanning here, see if there's anyone else that's worth calling. I mean, there's a million people worth calling out, but I'm just seeing if anyone.
Art Adams going to be there?
That's a good question. Let me go to the A's. I assume so because Jason usually has him there. Yes. Art Adams will be there as well as wife. Yep.
I mean, we can never get close to him, but just to see him is a nice feeling.
Bedlin Ortega is going to be there. Love their work very much. Brian Azzarello, always good to see the grumpy ass.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's going to be great, dude. It's like I said, we will not be wanting for conversation. There will be plenty of. I will say it is a little weird because New York is, depending on who you ask, it is the largest U.S. Comic-Con. San Diego still tries to make some claim to that, but regardless of whether it's one or two, it is an inordinately large and popular Comic-Con. Close to 180,000 people attend usually. And yet, I got to be honest, I think of all the cons we've been to, of all the years, this is the fewest EOC Familia that I know for sure are going to be there.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, some of the locals that we can't wait to see are always there. Bill Z will be there. Darryl will be there. But, I got to say, among our Slack, there's very few folks that are coming. Very few. Alex Manfield will be there though, which is great.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah,
but yeah, but I bring it up for one just because it struck me as odd, but two, we were talking about having nothing crazy, but a little let's meet at this place and have cocktails if you want to have a meetup. I still think we do that. Maybe we do that Friday night, but I don't know that we're going to get much of an attendance because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are crewing up. So. Now we also have to remember there are thousands of people that listen to the show that aren't part of the Slack and are just listeners, and we thank you for that. So maybe if you're hearing this and we announce something, I'll put it on the Facebook as well, maybe, so that you guys can stop by and say hello then if you want. But of course, in terms of people that we regularly interact with, in the community, our patrons and stuff, it doesn't seem like there's many that'll be there.
Right. We are of one mind, because I was just going to say that if you're coming to the show and you're not a member of the patron, cool. Hit us up. Come on up to us. Meet us at wherever the event happens, if it does happen, and we'll be glad to give you a big old bear hug.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
And we agreed we're not going to go see Joker 2, right? I know we had talked about that.
No, I don't have too much interest in it. Sorry.
Me neither. Yeah.
Yeah, I can wait for it to stream.
Yeah,
I'll wait for it to hit max.
I don't even know if I'm going to watch it when it streams, so I'm not really.
Oh, forgot to tell you, Vinny went to see.
I still haven't seen The Flash, though.
Vinny is going to see Terrifier 3 tonight.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm such a puss because I was I watched 1 and 2, loved them. Love that we talked about. I'm like, I'm gonna go see 3, but then I thought, you know what? I can't go see 3 because I can't be that random 50-year-old white dude that goes to a movie like Terrifier 3 by himself. Like that is like serial killer stuff. Like,
Oh,
I
that would
can't
be
do it.
heaven for me. Heaven.
No, but like I just think people be looking at me some kind of way. Like, what's this?
What do
old
you
freak
care?
doing here?
Yeah, whatever.
I guess I care. I care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a strange franchise. It really is. Did
Because
you watch?
it's so. I mean, like for people that don't, it is exceedingly violent. Like
But
it is.
Art doesn't care. You're dead. Not only are you dead, but he's going to turn your body into hamburger. Like
No,
Jason,
that's what I mean. Like
Jason just kill you. Freddy would just suck you into the dream thing, whatever. But Art is he's gonna defile your corpse, and that's what I like. And he doesn't fuck around. There's very little chasing in the Terrifier movies. He's got you, and he's gonna chop you into little bits. So I think it's refreshing.
I very much want to see 3 like before it comes out like in streaming because it's Halloween season and I just watched 1 and 2. So I probably will try and sneak off and see it, but I really wish I could get Colin home for a weekend so I could go see it with him.
Nice.
He's always been my horror movie guy, but he's not gonna be home. So
Did you
maybe
watch?
we can go see that.
Maybe we can go see that. That'd be great. We'll just have
Although
to cradle.
Dap probably
We have to cradle Dap.
Yeah. Dap's sensibility.
I'll go see Joker too.
Now, Jason, did you watch All Hallows Eve?
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't bad. I'm of the opinion that if they just took out the middle story, the alien story, it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah, I mean it's right. It's interesting if you look at it from the perspective of you can see Leone. I don't know if it's Leone or Leone, but if you can see his arc as a filmmaker, right? 'Cause obviously that was...
Right. It's not a bad movie by any stretch, but I just think that
cool.
That alien thing, it makes no sense. Doesn't relate to any of the
He was figuring out
other
Art
parts.
in that first one.
Right.
Like he hadn't really figured out who Art was because then the whole thing with like there's like all the misfit like deformed people in the sewer and then Satan. It was a little like he had a million ideas he was trying to put on film, right?
Right.
But then I think and then Terrifier 1 I enjoyed it because the reviews are actually pretty bad for that too, but I enjoyed it. But it is kind of just straight up slasher flick in the sense that like there's not really much going on with these things just killing people.
Well, he's a special effects artist,
right?
So.
But Terrifier 2, I think, is like there's like a narrative there. I mean, again, this isn't high art, but and as I understand it, the girl who survives 2 is the heroine of 3 as well. So.
Probably not for long because we know how that goes.
Right? I assume she gets killed, right? Because that's the way this always works, right? They come back and they get killed. Yeah.
That's like the Saw movies.
I mean, I have to say, I don't know if you saw it was the Terrifier 3 is banned in France, and it's the first movie banned in France since 2006 for whatever Saw movie that came out that year was banned.
See, whatever happened to NC-17? Right? Do they not have to submit these films to the review board anymore? Because what
it's
went
not
on?
Rated. It's NR. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not rated.
the stuff that went on in Dawn of the Dead pales in comparison to any of these Terrifier movies. And it's like, wow, George had such friggin' problems distributing that movie, and now that's a thing of the past. People just, I mean, seemingly they don't care anymore. But we care about something. We care about comics, right?
Now we're in.
We're locked in.
No, I mean like an hour into the show, we care about comics.
It's not. We talked about New York. That's comics.
That's
what?
True.
Yeah, let's, Jason, fill my ears with something that you really enjoyed.
Well, there's something that's been on my list for a couple months now, and I can't tell you why I keep not talking about it, so I'm going to talk about it tonight. It's just one of those things I don't want to ever give short shrift to.
Right.
And then it just never comes around. So, I'm talking about Dynamite Diva, The Engine Whispers.
I was the reason why you've been holding off on it.
Oh,
so please
why?
Go on. Because I have it. I just haven't.
It's been months now, bro.
I know. Don't do it.
That's your limitations. All right, I'm calling it. Written and drawn by Jasper Jubenvill. We've talked about Dynamite Diva before a couple times when his stuff's come out. This is technically like volume 4, I think, of the series, but it's really not fair to like categorize it that way because it's been mini comics, it's been web comics, it's been, I think most of us read the bulk of what came before this in a big collection that he did a Kickstarter for. The point is, it's kind of his muse, his main character. It is a leather-clad bad bitch with an eye patch. She's like a female Nick Fury, basically. She's a grunge chick bisexual, super violent, kind of a rebel. Not kind of, she's a rebel. Gets in all kinds of adventures. But I have to say, I don't know how old Jasper is. He's pretty young. I think he's still in his early 20s. I know Vince hates when we bring up age about that stuff, but I bring it up in the context of the sense that, like, I think his stuff has been awesome from the start. But I think, as is natural when someone's been at the craft for a while, like, I think this Engine Whispers is far and away his most complete, accomplished work to date. It doesn't in any way feel less over the top, which is great. Like, it's not reined in, but the structural narrative and his art, I think, are just a little bit more polished than they were in the past. I mean, the art in particular, like, it's evolved. If you look at, like, his early mini comic stuff to now, you would expect an evolution from being a teenager into his 20s. But, like, there's, like, some really beautiful composition in this book, and, like, he really has gotten comfortable spotting heavy blacks now. Like, it's like this. I think this Dynamite Diva volume has way more ink on it than any of the other volumes, and I think to its credit, it really does serve the the story and the types of stuff he wants to draw really well. Look, this isn't like this isn't Citizen Kane, but there is a premise. The premise is that Dynamite Diva in this book, her best friend is basically killed by a serial killer. Who the serial killer is, dude named Merlin. He drives a taxi cab, and the cab talks to him. He's a psychotic. He's a schizophrenic, and so the cab talks to him and basically is like the devil on his shoulder and tells him to do awful things to people. And so he's a serial killer that uses his cab to pick up victims. And he picks up Bianca, who is her best friend, Diva's best friend, and kills her. And so Diva, hell hath no fury like, a diva scorned. And so she sets out to figure out who killed Bianca and take him down. And that's really what the book is. And lots of people die along the way. Cops get involved. Ultimately, Diva and Merlin come to heads and are both essentially at the mercy of this demon, this devil, this Satan named Balthazar, who is shaping both of their lives unbeknownst to each other. And it was just incredibly fun. I mean, Jubenvill's so talented with his illustration. He much like a Jim Rugg or something. He puts tons of he embeds the word balloons and the sound effects into the art. He has tons of pinups and faux advertising stuff that's interstitial to kind of break up the pace. It's just a wonderful, wonderful book. It's probably like I don't have it with me. It's like 120 pages, give or take. It was definitely I've enjoyed all of his Dynamite Diva stuff, but this is by far the most enjoyable narrative, right? Like, it's a complete story from beginning to end with a really satisfying conclusion, which I won't go into, A, because Dap hasn't read it, and B, because I want you all to read it if you haven't yet. It's a pretty big development, I think, in the character of Diva. But it's sexy, it's dangerous, it's violent, it's just awesome indie comics. And I think Jubenville's definitely someone that I'm pretty stoked we're gonna get a bunch of decades of more comics from him, and I can't wait to see what he's got to cook up next. So yeah, it definitely is worth checking out. And I will say, I've had people ask, like, you don't have to have read any of the other Dynamite Diva stuff to enjoy this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like anything, if you have a history with the character, there's going to be little moments, little panel bits, little history that are going to be even more fulfilling to you. But I don't think in any way you need to have read the stuff that came before this. I mean, it is a complete story unto itself. I mean, he sets you up with who Diva is and introduces you to her and the other characters. So it's like not like you're not going in completely cold. And again, I think tip my cap to him for that. So it's each volume in and of itself accessible if you haven't read the other stuff. So check it out. Fantagraphics, I believe, is the one that published the version I have, but it's Dynamite Diva, The Engine Whispers. Maybe it's not Fantagraphics. I don't have it with me, like I said, because it's months ago that I.
It's not Strangers?
I ordered mine right from Big Cartel, right from
him,
so.
I guess it is just from him. So you can if you Google Jasper Jubenvill or go to Instagram, he's active there. You can get a link to his website. I believe it's jubenvill.com, but Jubenvill. And you can get it there, or any like indie comic store online has it too. I think it's pretty readily available.
Yeah, it's still available. Jasper Jubenvill at bigcartel.com still has it,
Okay.
and the PDF if you don't want to pay the Canadian price for shipping. But
I think it's great, and I think the design of Balthazar the Devil's great. Like it's like this like insect looking creature with kind of like vertical sharp teeth, almost like a jagged like toothed vagina. It's like a cleverly designed. And then I'm not much of a car person, but I mean the premise of this is that the villain has like I said, a taxi, and the taxi's demonic, and it speaks to him, and the taxi morphs over time to become more and more monstrous. And I know some people are car heads, and big like big iron car heads, and I think that this will be right up your alley too. That's not like a draw for me per se, but I know it is a draw for lots of people. So.
I look at some of Jasper's art, and I swear sometimes I feel like you're just born during the wrong era.
For sure.
A lot of his work just is so fitting from the underground stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I mean, and I also say I own a page. I own a page from not from this, but from one of his prior Dynamite Diva runs, and he works incredibly small. Like the page is like comic book sized. Like fully drawn. It's nuts. Yeah. But like we've talked about it before. I mean, he's obviously most often compared to Chester Gould. Like he draws like Chester Gould with a sadomasochistic bent. Like, but the characters, the faces, the expressions of the people are very much by design meant to look like the Chester Gould, Dick Tracy era characters. Only they have leather and spikes and beat each other to death. So
that's all.
Yeah.
No, but it's really, really good. Like I said, he's certainly on a long list of creators who I will buy whatever they do next, like sight unseen, because they've earned that for me.
This is the one I don't have yet.
Got to get it, bro.
Yeah, I'll pick it up.
We'll find it this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Jason.
Vincent.
Final cut. Got to talk about it. It's a wrecking ball. It is,
bro. It's
just ridiculous. I didn't know, but it was serialized outside the United States.
It's so fitting that we talked about Black Hole this year. I think.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. Like this is we're giving Charles Burns his props this year.
So depending on which side of the ocean you reside, this could be an OGN because that's how we got it. But it isn't. It's more of a collection of because I don't know in what country.
I didn't know that. Actually.
Yeah, it was serialized somewhere, and
because I know that this was pimped by like TCJ's review said it was his first full-length graphic novel since Black Hole.
Well, I mean, it was done piecemeal, and Watchmen was done piecemeal, right? So it is an OGN. It's just that people elsewhere received it in different formats than we did.
Gotcha.
Right. And the cover is, it's high concept from the cover in, like Laurie's. The viewer is faced with the back of Laurie's head. And once you get into the story, like, cause I pulled it out of the box. And I'm like, all right, digging in. I look at the cover and it didn't make much sense to me. But in hindsight, after having consumed the contents, the cover makes perfect sense. Why she's facing away from the viewer. Did you get that from the cover image? I mean, you realize why it works, right? Because
go ahead.
No, she doesn't reciprocate on any of Brian's dreams. She basically turns her back on him, and it's like that's simple. It's very simple, but it's so fitting because that's the entire story.
Yeah,
he invested all of his creative mojo in this woman he thought was his muse, and sometimes the muse doesn't return your advances.
I have to say, as I was reading this, I thought, oh my God, if Vince doesn't love this, I don't know Vince. Because there were so many nods to things you love with every fiber of your being.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you know, C-list, you know, pulpy films and
You can call them
UFO.
B's. You don't have to say C.
Well, whatever. No, I mean whatever you call it. UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just I'm like reading this. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the adoration of art for art's sake, right? And like it's like I was like, oh my god, this is like Charles Burns is trying to get in. He's trying to like riz up Vince, trying to get in Vince's pants.
Yeah, I mean, this scares me a little bit to say, but I'm a lot like Brian.
You are.
I am. The thing, Dap, is that Brian is an artist.
Okay.
And he has a penchant for, let's just call them crummy horror and sci-fi movies. He loves the cinema. But it's not just that genre. Like, he loves all cinema. And he loves to engage in the process of cinema, which is, in this period, this is like 70s, around the same time as
just
Black
like
Hole.
wood panels on the walls. In the house.
Yeah. So he loves to engage in the viewer cinema shared experience, right? So he goes to the movies a lot, and he engages deeply with cinema, but not so much with people in the real world. He's often seen as aloof and detached and spacey, and it's mentioned that he's taking medication, or he should be taking medication for whatever it is that's going on, but it's not explicitly stated what exactly is he's been diagnosed with, right? And this girl, Lori, walks into his life, and she is suddenly the focal point of all his creative energy. All his waking moments are consumed with thoughts about this girl, and she doesn't return any of it. And it doesn't culminate, but one of the sequences that really highlight what's going on with Brian is that he talks about Sybil Shepherd in the Last Picture Show. How she was given a watch, a very expensive watch, and went into a pool wearing the watch and ruined the watch, and was just like, oh well. And so he's having this back and forth with Laurie, and he sees the image of Sybil Shepherd in the water with the watch, and so he pulls back from Laurie, meaning that, well, this happened in the cinematic realm, so I'm not going to risk that happening to me with Laurie. Like, he doesn't invest himself completely, thinking that, well, it's only going to get fucked up anyway. Look what Sybil Shepherd did in that movie. So it's like the movies become the waking world for him, and life is just basically a transitory state where he's just moving from place to place. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts in this book. It doesn't seem like it when you're reading it, but he sees himself as an alien, this globular tentacle thing, brain type alien that just listlessly floats over the landscape, just pursuing, whatever. And he's drawing, there's one section early on where he's looking at a toaster. He's at a party, right? So he's at a party with a lot of people his own age, and there's alcohol, and people are living it up and having a good time. And he's in the kitchen staring into a toaster at his own image reflected in the toaster, and he's drawing. And the one piece of dialogue was, I didn't even realize it was going to be a self-portrait until, the lines revealed themselves. And it's of himself drawing, but he has that weird tentacle brain alien type thing going on. And so he sees himself apart from humanity. Like, he doesn't fit in. He doesn't want to fit in. The creative act is everything to this guy. Be it cinema or, drawing. He produces, but he doesn't exactly know why he's doing it. It's almost like automatic writing. He's just dropping lines, and they always turn into either this weird alien landscape or images of Laurie. Like, those are the two things on which he fixates. And it's like, it's insane. And it keeps bopping back and forth between genre movies of that he enjoys, which are portrayed in black and white, and the color of the real world, and it's yeah, I mean, we can go hours on this thing. It really should be a book of the month eventually, because I would like to go super, super deep on this, because there's, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. And then one of their annoying friends, Tina, who doesn't seem like she's going to be that much of a player in the narrative early on. Like, she just seems like an annoyance. She embarrasses herself, and she, you know, she's the type that attracts attention by doing outlandish things. Like, they're hiking, and she just pulls down her pants to show her ass, just to, you know what I mean? Yeah. But she has aspirations for Laurie, and Laurie returns those with Tina. Yeah. So it's like, how do we crush Brian and then twist the knife around? So it's Chester Burns, it's Charles Burns. So you shouldn't go into it expecting that it's going to be the you know, the good time, feel good graphic novel of the season.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jason? Oh my God. Jason. Where did he go?
Where did he go?
It's so weird. Like, grown ass man. But I mean, I have it right here. It's from Pantheon, so it's like the production values are ridiculous. Just amazing production. Real heavy paper. The art the color lays on the page beautifully. And then it's Burns' art. So it's like, yikes. This is just, I think he invested an amazing amount of creative energy into the landscapes in this book, because there are some vistas that are just like, holy shit, like, look at this. It is just meticulously drawn. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And there's body horror in it. So
And now he's gone.
you got a little bit of body horror, but it's, if you're an artist, you will find this book particularly compelling because it speaks to the creative impulse and, the things we do to realize, to pull those images from our brains. Yeah, I don't know what. See, when is he? Are you back, Jason? It's so weird. Like, where is he?
I see him.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal, and I don't want to say too much about it because you haven't read it yet, and it's recency bias, that thing that everyone says when they read something current. I think it's at least on par with Black Hole. I don't really want to commit to saying that it's better because it's not the same thing. It's not a race, right? It's not a popularity contest. They both have value, and they're both, I think, intricately complex. It's good stuff. I don't know what Burns is fixation on teens, though. He seems to exploit the teen mindset in the majority of things I've read from him. Maybe it's just low-hanging fruit. They're easy to manipulate and exploit and wrangle into certain situations. But yeah, he's got this teen vibe. Well, you read Black Hole. It's and a lot of his other work fixate on that age group, and I think it's very, very curious to see.
Well, considering that it's new, I don't expect anybody to have it at a discount this weekend.
Oh, hell no. No.
So I'll order it when we after the weekend.
It's great. It's really great. Hey there.
Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah.
Yes.
Dude, can you... Oh, all right, never mind.
What did I do?
No, and you didn't do anything. I don't understand. Like, literally nothing has changed from when we started the show. And I'm talking to you about this book, and you're not responding. And I'm like, is he just not want me to talk over him? And
yeah, that's me.
No, I'm... Why did you suddenly not hear me?
I don't know. Why do you break up at odd intervals? Who knows? It's just the internet's. So what did you think? Oh my God. Final Cut.
I'm exhausted. Well, first of all, you mentioned the scene where he's drawing at the party,
Yes.
and at the toaster. So that is a real moment from Charles Burns' life.
Oh boy.
So yeah, he said that he went through crippling writer's block for years, where he tried multiple times to start new projects, and his publishers were like, "All right, dude, like, when's your next project?" And he kept failing, like being like, "Ah, this is shit. I don't want to put it out." And so he set a goal for himself he said, "All right, I'm going to create a 7-page story." And that 7-page story started with the scene that you're talking about, where he is drawing at the table, because he said that happened to him at an actual party when he was young. He was at a friend's kitchen, and he was drawing an alien in the reflection of a chrome toaster while he was high as fuck. And so he took that from his own life and he started, and that became what is now Final Cut. So, like, for definitely like his most personal work. I think there's so much that can be discussed in this book in terms of like juxtaposing the themes he plays with here versus Black Hole, and how this is in some ways similar in a lot of like tonal, components, but like the approach is smoother, a little more mature, a little more nuanced, and like that would make sense because he's an older gentleman now. I think he's in his late 60s. But like, I think there's a thing about Burns, and I don't know how he does it, and I don't know that I could ever try and replicate it, but he's so good at making you feel like these people who are doing relatively normal things are completely alien to you. Like, and also that they're completely disconnected from their environment. Like, they're having conversations, they're interacting, they have relationships with people, but like they're almost like pod people, which is why I felt so intensely gratified by him making, Invasion of the Body Snatchers like one of the homages from this book, right? Like this idea that there are people that are just weird, like you interact with them, you just don't, like, they just don't seem like legitimate or connected. And that's I get a sense he must feel like that sometimes in his own life, because that's a recurring theme in his work.
That's what I said. I was saying that it does call back to Black Hole in a sense where those the very concept of black hole is you're in a shell, a body that you don't understand, and something's happening to it, and it's transforming, and it's very strange and very scary. I don't think anyone in Final Cut is entirely comfortable in their own skin. I mean,
right.
You actually see Laurie. I know it's symbolic and it's part of the film, but he has her pop out of a pod. Like she gestated in this thing and emerges into the world as whatever. And the fact that he slams home the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's not implied. It's explicit. The movie appears in the narrative, right? So yeah, I think you're dead on that. It's just like feeling like an alien. And you say these people do strange things, and I think that's a trademark of kids, where they get into these little nuclear groups, and it's like the world doesn't exist. What are we doing this weekend? Where even family doesn't register with them anymore, right? They just need to experience life, and at the expense of everything and everyone outside of their group, right? So I think I'm guessing that Burns had. I think the 70s are very beloved by Burns because he keeps going back there.
Well, he's 68 years old, so he would have been
the age of Brian.
Right. No. Right. So he would have been like college age in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I mean, that's
he goes back to what he knows.
That's my golden age. The 70s I thought were a magical time, all things considered. Right.
Yeah. So I've realized recently, in part because we reread Black Hole and this book and stuff like that, visually speaking, I'm just a massive fan of of the clear line style,
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but like on the show, but that's credit. I mean, Hergé is credited with the creation of that style, and plenty of people since then have taken it from him. And I mean, Burns is an acolyte there, and I mean, self-diagnosed. He's very open about Hergé being his primary visual, inspiration. But I just love. I mean, I love Burns's visual technique. I mean, it is very clean, but it helps in making it feel alien and making it feel emotionally disconnected. I think the style wouldn't necessarily work in other types of stories, but for the stories he tells, it works beautifully.
There's no midtones, none.
Yeah, exactly. It's and I do think, and I had to reboot that, so I don't know if in the 5 minutes I was gone you talked about this, but it's interesting seeing him give us a full graphic novel like this in color, versus Black Hole. I'm such a fan of the visuals of Black Hole. Like, I don't know that I can say like I like this more, but it was definitely felt vibrant to see it in a different way, like to see him use color. So like I'm here for that. And it's not the first time we've seen him use color. I mean, I just talked about comics, the cover book he did, and that's all very colorful and a lot of his other stuff. But that just felt a little different. I mean, for as much as a lot of the things that they reference in this book play to your loves, I mean, as you know, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of my favorite, horror sci-fi things of all time.
It's a great movie.
So seeing him pay homage to that like hooked me right in. I just think it's like perfect comics, honestly. Like I think it's got a point of view. It executes against that point of view. It feels unique.
And it's funny. Like he uses the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers because the remake didn't exist at this time.
Exactly right.
Right.
In the 70s, it wouldn't. Right. Right. So I just think it. I read it, and I put it down and thought, well, this is fucking perfect. I don't know. I don't even know what I can really like. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, the dude still got it. Like, okay.
Yeah, I read it twice, cool. And the things are more clear the second time around. Things you didn't maybe pick up. That could be said about almost everything. But because the first time I read it with, I was scrutinizing everything, and that I think takes you away from the actual mechanism of it, the things that are actually going on, because you're looking for stylistic things, and you're looking for parts of the work that you can translate into commentary. If people, you know what I mean. And so there was too much of the academic going into it the first time. And then the second time I pulled back, I'm like, I'm just going to read this fucking thing for fun, just for fun, to see, get rid of that curtain of scrutiny and just read it and enjoy it and try and just let myself sink into it. And I think it read much better the second time because I wasn't pulling it apart, and I just let it flow.
Yeah. I will say one thing you started off by saying that I don't 100% agree with is your depiction of Laurie, in the sense that I came away thinking Laurie wasn't like I think you said something, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but you were like, oh, she didn't return any of his affection. I think in a way I take it differently, in the sense that I feel like he's used, he's living in a world where he's used to being marginalized and ignored as a weirdo, because he is a weirdo and he's got social anxiety. But Laurie's there for it. I mean, she finds him intriguing, right? Even from the opening, she's like, "What are you drawing? Oh, that's amazing!" She engages him in conversation. She pulls him out of his shell. Where I think it gets interesting is that, he wants to engage. He clearly likes her, and he has that moment where he puts his hand on the small of her back during the screening, during the movie showing, and she likes it. She doesn't back away from it, and she remarks on it. But then when the crowd turns to him to get his thoughts, he gets shy and he pulls his hand away, and that's all there is. And then, like you said, and then she ends up with a relationship. And I think that I honestly think that one of the things I came away with was if he had the courage and self-confidence to have made a move, she would have been down.
I don't think so.
But well, yeah, I mean, again, it's subject to interpretation, but I came away thinking she went with the girl because the girl made a move on her, and she's like, all right. Like,
so you're just basically open to anyone that shows you some interest.
I think so.
I know.
Yeah.
I think she's just as confused about who she is and what her place in the world is as Brian. The difference being that I think Lori is basically a good person, where she was asking about his work and complimenting him and showing interest in him. Yes, maybe she was interested a little bit, but I think the majority of it was just her being a genuinely nice person. Like that's I think that's
zones himself though. Like meaning we'll never know because he didn't have if he had a window when they first met to get up in there, he just didn't have the.
I think
game to
if
close
she was completely interested in him, the one night where he invites her over, she never would have brought Jimmy and Tina with her. Like if she wanted to get with him and she's bringing a posse, come on.
I don't know, man. Like,
yeah.
If
a girl told me, "Hey, come on over to the house. I want to show you some stuff,"
but you
I'd be like,
"Trouble with girls, though."
No, I didn't.
You
but
like that's
no.
what I mean. But like your mindset's different. Like you were. I don't mean this term you were predatory. Like you knew how to close. Like
a little bit, yeah.
No, I'm saying, but like he doesn't. He has no game. Like he's got no riz, and like in a way, like he's like that handcuffs him because he does fall in love, but he doesn't know how to act on it. But
again, it is the quote real world. So if you see in the sequences where he's directing the movie and he's working on set in quotes, he's much more alive. He's much more engaged.
For sure. Yeah.
If it was a movie where she came on to him, I think that he would have taken the initiative and reciprocated, right? Or he would have initiated it because it's not real. It's the cinema. See, that's where he lives. He lives in the movies. He lives in art.
I think there is a component to it, which maybe because I'm not an artist, I see it there and I don't quite have my hands around it, which was like, it did feel like Burns was trying to say, hey, there are people, and maybe Burns is like that himself, where like the way to really connect to them is through their art.
Right.
Like, even if they're really hard to connect with, like in real life.
Well, that's their language. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I appreciated it, and I think that's what he's going for. But like I don't quite identify with that. Like obviously that's not my personality type.
Yeah, I really understand, Brian.
I figured you would.
Yeah, because there are times I'll watch a Hallmark movie and cry like an asshole. But if I saw the same thing play out on the news, I'd be like, "Put your big pants on, bitch." You know what I mean? Like
right.
The cinema's real to me, at least as far as you enter into this arena with whatever kind of art it is, and for whatever, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're in this reality, this pseudo reality, and then you come back into the real world and it's not as exciting, it's not as vivid, it's not as challenging or alive as the cinema. Like it, especially when the good guy wins at the end and he gets the girl, like that's awesome. In real life, like whatever. that's just whatever, dude. You do you.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I can completely identify with the art. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think
scary.
It's a beautiful book.
It is
super well executed, and again, I think it's one of those things where, if you're an experienced reader of comics, I don't know how you read this and don't see it as like a masterful accomplishment. That doesn't mean, like, I don't mean to say that like people that read this like have to love it. Like it is, of a certain style and what it, like the themes are of what they are, such that I can see people. This might not just like, I could see plenty of people saying this isn't my vibe. Like that's fine, but like this is definitely on that short list which we've talked about in the past. Where like, if you tell me you read this and you think it's bad or like poorly executed, then I got to write you off. Because like,
I agree.
Again, I'm not saying I can't. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you have to love it because like maybe you don't like the narrative or the themes, but like you have to. If you've read comics before, you can't look at this and think like this dude is just putting on a clinic. Like he's putting on a clinic in all ways of what it means to be a comic book creator, and like tip my cap to him, man. Like You know, I mean, if you're going to take a bunch of years off and you come back this strong, you know, and then you come with comics as well, which again, it was a much more surface level project, more of an art book. But I got to tell you, man, he's well out in front with 2 months left for me for my Creator of the Year.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be raw. I really want to give it to Blurry. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But all I know is I got my shot at the Charles Burns Clinic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Final Cut was that. It was it.
It was all that,
hype, man.
Yeah. It's a
much hyped book that delivered the hype.
And I think, you know, while we're on the subject, Burns is one of those guys that delivers, right? The hype is real, as they say.
Yeah.
And I think the last time this happened, maybe not for you, but Dap will agree. The last time something was touted as you gotta, Barry Windsor Smith, Monsters.
Yeah. I someday I'm gonna sit you down on the couch and figure out what you have against Dan Clowes, because I think Monica fits in that bill too, but I know you don't agree.
Yeah, it's rushed. It looks.
But anyway, my point is I mean, it's not janky, dude. Okay, that's absurd. Now you're just being insulting. But yes, but I understand Monsters belonging in this for sure.
Yeah, I'll read that again.
And I mean, Mazzucchelli's Asterios Polyp too, right?
Oh, for real? Yeah.
Jesus.
He needs to do something else.
Well, it took him 20 years.
Well, but I think
so
if you can earn a living in the 20 years that it takes you to produce a masterpiece, wonderful. That's great.
He's a professor, right?
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck does that pay? Come on.
Tell us.
Yeah, not much. It's not. I wish he'd paid more. But I don't be so precious, Maz. Come on, give us something else.
I mean, he must be eating.
I'm sure he is. But we're consumers. We're selfish. We're ravenous. We want more at the expense of whatever processes he has. Like, whatever, just produce the art, bitch. I mean, that's how people are. I mean, we don't know what's going on. Maybe he struggles and deliberates over every stroke. Who knows, right?
The funny thing is hearing Burns talk about how he had this, like creative period of stage fright. Like, dude's been prolific. It's not.
Oh no, that's a common thing with artists. Like, I see it all the time with these kids that come through. You'll have somebody that is borderline virtuoso, and they're very timid and reluctant to show their work, and I just don't understand it.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, whatever they got going on in their heads is real, so it exists.
Yeah.
But I try and tell them, like, you are a phenomenon. You need to get this work out there. Social media, just show everybody, because you're wonderful. And they're like, nah, I don't think so. I'll just,
I mean, I guess in his defense, Sugar Skull came out in 2014, and then we didn't get anything until this. So, I mean, that was 10 years.
Yeah, worth the wait.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yep. Definitely worth the wait.
I mean, he can't wait another 10 years because he'll be 78. So he needs.
I just hope he's comfortable. That's all. I hope the returns on this book are put him in a nice spot where he can just relax. And
this is something. Pantheon. If we didn't say, it's Pantheon.
Yeah, I did. David,
Vince,
you go now.
I go now.
What hour?
Let's see. The most recent issue of Action Comics 1070 freaked me the hell out. Storyline's called Phantoms. This is part 1, written by Mark Waid, art by Clayton Henry, colors by Matt Herms, and the splash page is the stuff of horror. You've got it's the issue starts off with the new Fortress of Solitude here's that number, in the 52 days between absolute power and the Battle of the Watchtower. We get a close-up on the original Phantom Zone projector, and a crack begins to form, and so the projector is activated, and you see a hand emerge. It looks like a bloody hand, or a hand with blood attached to it. Comes out, and then another hand, and then a third arm,
Third arm.
and
Sounds like.
and then you've got you see a head, and it's speaking Kryptonian, and then the splash page is it's basically three figures that have been merged into one grotesque being, and like walking on its hands. It's I mean, I thought it might have been like, Ursula Zod and on, but it's I don't know who they are, and I'm not sure if Superman does, but they're just screaming in Kryptonian, and I mean, blank eyes just outlined in red, and just looking angry and filled with rage, and it's a frightening image. Clayton's lines are so neat, and he draws. I really really like his figure work, and I never could have imagined that he could draw something like this. It freaks me out, and I can't take my eyes off it. But while that's going on, Jimmy Olsen is playing investigative journalist, and he's hanging upside down from a lamppost because he's taking photos of a city controller taking a bribe. So while he's doing that, luckily it's Sunday, because there's this sound coming from the distance, and then this projectile just flies through one of the buildings in Metropolis, and Superman leaps into action, drops Jimmy off at the planet, and blasting the debris from the building. It's not like the building was coming down. It went through the window on one floor and came out the other side on the same floor. So it was just whatever small glass and concrete. But Superman catches up to the figure, and it starts fighting back, and they have the same strengths, and one-on-one wouldn't be much for Superman to handle, but there's three of them, and they are just fighting wild and with no control, and they are beating the crap out of him. They drag him down into the harbor. Supergirl shows up. She helps try to even the odds, and it's going not all that well for our hero and heroine. But once Superman does realize what they are saying, and so he flies away, and he's got one plan, and if it backfires, everybody's dead. And it's not green kryptonite, and he flies to the northeast section of Ethiopia, which is a collection of boiling acid geysers, toxic vapors, and unendurable heat, and that's where he has the gold isotope, the gold kryptonite, buried. So he grabs it and flies back to Metropolis with it, while Supergirl is holding her own. They blast Superman as he approaches. The Kryptonians blast Superman with their heat vision. He drops the container. Jimmy ends up picking it up, and but the battle caused a bridge to start to buckle, and so Cal and Kara go to keep the bridge suspended, but knowing that the Kryptonians are going to go back to attack our heroes, that's not going to go well. So Jimmy uses his signal watch, attracts the Kryptonians. They come back to him, and he's able to blast them. Opens up the lit container, blasts them with the gold K. They crash down to the ground, and Jimmy asks what were they saying constantly, just on repeat, and they were saying kill us. So back at the fortress, you've got the entire Super family. You've got Colin Keenan, you've got Superboy, you've got Natasha Irons, John Kent, Crypto's even chilling. Lois is there, and Superman is going to he's got his plan, knows what he's going to do, and it involves chatting with the folks in the bottle city of Kandor. He and Kara make a visit, and they're trying to get to the bottom of things and how this might have happened, how the projector might have cracked, might have leaked. So Superman is going to put himself into the Phantom Zone, and Supergirl was all set to go with him, but he needs everybody on standby on Earth in case anybody else comes through. And it's cliffhanger with this issue, with this first chapter, because he does show up in the Phantom Zone, but he kind of shows up right in the thick of things. The art was just, like I said, I'm a Clayton Henry fan, and I like his version of Superman. This issue worked because the art definitely worked because he can do crowds and everything like that. But I mean, it wasn't necessary since it was the weekend in Metropolis. It's not all that busy. I guess it's like Charlotte's a banker's town, but there's not a whole lot of people. It's not New York City, so you didn't have a ton of faces and characters that got bogged down with the action. It was a pretty straightforward story as far as this first chapter goes. But yeah, and Wade writing Superman. So I'm extremely happy about that. If you're going to give somebody to kind of embellish and expand on Byrne's Man of Steel reboot, then Wade and Lin Yu doing Birthright is up there when it comes to a Superman origin story. So Wade knows what he's doing. The backup tale is a Supergirl story, which is kind of weird. It's written by Mariko Tamaki, art by Skylar Partridge. It's a bit of a mystery. I don't know what Supergirl is planning. I don't know what's kind of possessed her to go on this weird mission that she's leaving the planet for. Obviously, it's not taking place at the exact same time as the main story in this issue, but she also has this ability to kind of mind wipe folks. I guess without the Superman kiss from the second movie, but you've got she does it to John Irons. She does it to Power Girl. They're talking to her. Then next thing you know, like they completely lost track of time and have no idea what the hell happened up to those moments leading up to that second. But yeah, this was a I'm really interested to see where this Phantom story is going. But yeah, I mean, Wade and Henry, I ain't mad about this creative team. I think it's only a 3-issue arc. I'm not 100% sure, but although the cover's weird because there's one character I'm not familiar with, and then there's Mon-El or Valor on the cover as well as Clark leaping into action, changing into Superman. So we haven't seen Mon-El in this particular chapter yet. I don't know if he's going to appear later on, but I'm guessing he's going to play a part, unless this was just maybe a commission or something that Clayton had lying around with some super characters. But yeah, I thought I can't get over this freaking splash page. But yeah, this was a fun issue. It was nice to just kind of read a Superman story that, as much as I enjoyed Absolute Power, wasn't connected or tied into either Brainiac War or Absolute Power or anything like that. It was more like it reminded me of a of one of those of an older era Superman story, especially with the Phantom Zone, especially with the Kryptonite. I got a kick out of it. I dug it.
Vince, what would DAP do if DC lost the license to Superman?
I'd have to make my own.
For real. He is your muse. I love that character.
When I think it's good, I'll because it's dude, I had to get through the New 52, so I'm like, and Rebirth. So I mean,
Walkabout.
I had, and I had to fucking walk about. So there's been times where I couldn't go near a Superman book, like Spidey today. So this is
Right.
If it's good, then absolutely I'm going to latch onto it and let everybody know that I think it's back at the top form again.
Axe somebody. Vince went for his constitutional. He was like, "Oh, DC talk. Let me."
Oh yeah, talk about Superman.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm back.
I'm back, bitches.
I finished the dishes. I put all the bottles away.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yep. I repaired the dishwasher this week, by the way. Myself.
Oh,
look at you.
Myself. I have something I don't want to...
You making lasagna in it again?
No, I don't. No, the heating coil was shot.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to go too deep on this. I talked the first volume of this book up in episode 938. This is volume 2. Written and illustrated by Kasumi Yasuda. It is Fool Night. You guys aren't reading this, are you?
No.
Okay, so if you want to know the setup, listen to 938. I won't go over it again. But briefly, the Earth is blanketed by clouds. So very little sunlight. All of the plant life dies. No plants, no oxygen, right? So somebody comes up with this brilliant idea to... it's called the transfloration process, in which a human organism will take a seed, and they have a very limited time until that seed takes hold, after which they will become a plant, one that can exist in low light, thus providing the oxygen that the planet so desperately needs. And the main character of this is Toshiro, who has willingly undergone the transfloration process. So he has a couple years. He has 2 years until his body is consumed by the plant.
It's like Strike Force Moratorium meets plants.
Well, okay, but the thing about this series is, it could be a thinly veiled commentary on capitalism.
Right, I think you said that.
Yeah, because what do? You either consume, you act like nothing has changed and you live your life consuming both oxygen and resources, or do you find whatever it is in your life to propel you to give back to humanity? Like, there's no turning back from this. You become a plant. Mm-hmm. And so it's the consumers versus the nurturers and the givers, and it's kind of heavy-handed, I think, but the events are or the premise allows for some really cool events. Like, there's a pianist, I told you, Sumi, whose father just abused the shit out of her to practice, and he would physically and verbally abuse her, and she hated the guy. So the guy, her father, undergoes the transfloration process, and she and Toshiro, because Toshiro has a very rare ability, it's unheard of actually, that he can translate the language of the plants. Those who have gone over the line where they're no longer human and they're now just plants, they speak a language that nobody can hear, but Toshiro can. And he not only can hear it, he can understand it. So that puts him in some weird kind of situations, because this Sumi enlists him to try and find her father, who is a plant. And she does, and she wants to use his wood to build a new piano. That's friggin' awesome. That the thing that caused you so much pain and abused you in order to achieve proficiency on an instrument now becomes the instrument. That's great. He's also put in a situation where a poker game around which a number of plants are situated, and someone wants him to ask the plants, what's going on in each member's hands. So like lowbrow, but if you could talk to plants, that would something that could possibly happen, right? It's just a neat little series, but the concept is pretty high, I think. I don't know about you guys, but I always have thoughts of, like, what's it all about? This endless cycle of consume, repeat. Like, what's the end game? How do we give back? Well, in this book, there's a way. And the people that undergo the process are paid, a fairly hefty sum, but they abandon all humanity. And whatever happens in their lives that have led them to that decision, maybe their existence is bleak and they have no one or nothing. So they decide to pay it forward. It's a neat book. Again, not one of those super feel good movie of the week type things. But if you like to think and ponder the possibilities of not only your existence but the existences of these characters, I think it's a great little manga. It's off the beaten path. It's not it doesn't engage in. There's no fight sequences like like last week with Tank Chair. Like that's a pretty common thing in manga, but this is different. It's not only brain food, but it's kind of plant food too, I guess. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Nice.
Did you see?
Like David, thank goodness for the manga.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Because I don't know. It would be a dry spell. It would be a dry spell for me.
If you didn't have a Charles Burns thing or anything like that, yeah.
Yeah. But this is how it works, right?
I mean, I think, would you rather talk about or have people listen to things you're really enjoying, or just like, because I read a couple of things where I was just like, I can't, I almost felt like you, where I wasn't going to put it on the list because I'm like, I can't even, I don't even want to mention that I read it because there's nothing really positive.
Yeah, I asked myself, where's the value in this book? It's not to me, because I read a ton of comics, right?
Sure.
But for someone that actually goes to the trouble of listening to this stuff, like, I want to give them something to engage them. Like, I read Sentinels, #1. Did you any of you read Sentinels?
No.
I mean, it was good, but what's the takeaway? Like,
but good in relation to the rest of the current new X books, or just on its own as a decent story?
I scrutinize based on what it is, not where it fits. Right.
Okay.
No, I mean, it was whatever. The premise is that Larry Trask, Bolivar's son, there's a strike force team that has nanotech sentinel armor, and they're rounding up mutants in this new paradigm of the Graymalkin prison thing, and they go after Omega Red. And these guys are greenhorns, basically. Like they're relatively untrained, and they don't die.
Okay.
At the hands of Omega Red, so I came away from it thinking, I understand the need to establish your main characters in the first issue, but you cannot tell me that Omega Red wouldn't have shredded these guys, nanotech armor or not, It was an issue, right? It was drawn well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I'm a hypocrite because I'm actually talking about it. But I asked myself, like, what's the value of bringing something to that to this, where I'm just going to say, yeah, it was good. I don't have anything else to say. It was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't groundbreaking. It was good. It engaged me for the 20 minutes that it took me to read it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
But so normally, I won't even consider bringing that kind of stuff because it's like, whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's what's the edge? What's the commentary, right? Like where's the interesting hook? If
Where's
it's
the
just-
meat? Yeah.
Just down the line, okay, yeah.
I mean, this too shall pass, right? Like George Harrison said, all things must pass. This mutants persecuted in the Westchester prison now, like this is only going to be a blip. It's going to go away eventually. And I
Can't wait.
yeah, I'm not sure I like to see the mutants in this position because we've seen all this before, right?
Oh, God, we've seen it all before.
Yeah, and the thing that burns me about the mutant books is like the Krakoa age is over. Like, thanks for reminding me. every issue, it's like, you remember that Krakoa thing that was really great? Well, we're not.
Said, it seems like plenty of people, I guess, weren't vibing on it like we were.
Ridiculous,
It's baffling
ridiculous
to me, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah, it is.
it's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean,
I don't get it, but whatever.
Do you know?
Yeah, they're your things. You play with them in whatever sandbox you want. Whatever.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Should we bring it on home? Let's see. Let's check the little timer here. Yeah, I think it's time to bring it on home. By the
I
time
just wanted to ask if you noticed, because I know you and I are both current on Geiger, although I did read number 7. Did you see who the artist is on number 7? And probably number 8?
what?
Well, definitely number 8. Yeah, it
Well,
continues the story, obviously.
Yeah, I won't read digital, especially not.
I know you won't.
The
I know you
Ghost
won't,
Machine books. No, I won't read
Right.
those.
No, you're right. But I don't. But I can never remember if when we get the image emails, I never remember how far. If I'm reading something that's coming out the next week, or if it's in a
Right.
couple of weeks. But you stopped going to the shop, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're not okay. So I'll.
So
but
I get
it's-
mine delayed.
Yeah, I'm sure
Okay,
comics
all
are
right.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time.
Okay. All right.
Not now. Not with what's coming next semester. So
Yeah. No. It makes sense.
no, I do. Who's the artist?
Paul Pelletier.
That's okay. That's good.
Oh no, I'm happy about it because he's Andrew.
Well,
Hennessy
you don't
was
have to be
inking it.
ecstatic. I mean, Gary Frank. Like,
Listen,
come on.
the dude just did 6 issues, so like, and countless covers, and God knows what else for the company. So like, give him a second, let him catch his breath.
Yeah, I'll just edit out Jason's mumbling and grumblings in the background. Like, I don't know what that's
Oh
about.
my God, dude.
I mean, obviously,
Relax, Fred.
it's not Gary Frank, but it's still it looks great. It's a story that well, I'm not gonna give anything away.
Don't.
I'm really curious to see how what Tariq deals with, where they're going, and what's coming. But yeah, it looks like I guess 7, 8. I don't know if it's a 2-parter. I didn't look at the solicit, so I don't know how many issues. But at least Paul is. It wasn't just a fill-in issue where it's like a day in the life of Barney or something. This is it's a full-blown story that it looks like Paul is going to draw. I don't know if it's 2 issues or if it's 3 or what. But
They probably had it planned where they just said, "Hey,
oh, absolutely.
yeah, do this," and
And
then
it'd be
we'll
neat
stick it in here.
if Paul is the go-to. So after 6 or 7 issues,
No, I
and
got
when
no
the
problem
next-
with that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I gotta say though, I hate to say this, but I will. I think you were 100% right about issue 6. It's definitely the best issue in the run, and it's ironic because it's all Barney. Like it's no Tariq.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's focus on the dog for an issue, and it's amazing, man. That issue was great. Like,
It's a gorgeous book.
that the spread with all the animals. That's a masterpiece. Anybody that doesn't think Gary Frank is like one of the premier talents in comics, you're just not looking at the right stuff. It's insane what he brought in that issue. And it's if you love animals, how could you not vibe on that issue?
And some of these panels, I mean, they look like they're straight out of like Jungle Fantasy or something from back in the day.
Yeah.
It's just it looks great. Jason, the issue is basically Barney is recovering because he was abused in the previous story and previous arc. So he strays from Geiger and from Nate, and he makes his way to a sanctuary, to a zoo, and all of the animals, for the most part, have been mutated to a degree. But you have poachers and hunters,
assholes, basically.
Yes, absolutely assholes, and it's just it's a solid issue. It looks amazing, obviously, because it's Frank, but yeah, the story itself, I'm going to consider it. It's Jeff's way of asking me for forgiveness for what I thought he was going to put Barney through a couple issues back.
Yeah, that wouldn't have washed. Nope.
No, I'd have been done with Ghost Machine.
Yeah. Well, all of it. Wow.
Maybe.
Wow. Strong. That's
it is strong.
You're digging your feet in on that one.
Yeah.
Some lines you don't cross.
Oh, amazing. The books are still kicking, though. Even though the
I got to catch up on Redcoat.
Well, the revelation of the Grand Architect was a feint.
It
was a ruse.
I wasn't. I kind of skimmed ahead and saw that, and I was like, okay, let me go back and read the issue.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Damn it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love them all. Man, what a surprise! But anyway,
I did read Devour, the one-shot spinoff from Hyde Street. No, yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to spoil anything. I thought the art was nice. But it's kind of like an anthology, but sort of not really. But it's another one of those. It's a hell of a story.
The thing about the Ghost Machine books, like I have a reluctance to read digital to begin with, but particularly the Ghost Machine books, because the production is so amazing on those things. Cardstock covers, the issues have weight. There's no ads other than internal for Ghost Machine. So you feel like, and the Ohatmu page is like, it's just an awesome experience. Every issue I just, to pun intended, devour them, right? To just click and, go to the next, nah, I can't do that. I can't.
And it's an issue with PDFs in general. And it's,
screw Adobe.
No, but for the benefit of previewing or reviewing them for the podcast, it's nice to have. I'd rather have the actual issue when it's time for me to just read it for me. But of course, the PDFs, any double page spreads are two separate files. So if you are reading it digitally, you're not getting, unless your reader is set up so that you're looking at double page spreads. But
for the most part, you're looking at one
page at a time.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but sometimes you might. If the file isn't set up correctly, your double page spreads, you'll have the right hand page on the flip, and
that happens a lot with
lined
previews.
Yeah. So
yeah. But I mean, there are times where we have nothing else. So sure, I'll read them in digital, but it's not my go-to. But you know what is my go-to?
What's your go-to?
CheapGraphicNovels.com.
Oh, it's a coincidence.
Yeah. CheapGraphicNovels.com. All the stuff, not a whole lot of money. OGNs, manga, trade paperbacks, omnibus editions, all of it. Massive stacks of this stuff at rock bottom prices. First time customer, you can get free shipping. Go back to the beginning of the episode to find how. And please, wherever you listen to this, leave us a like and a review, especially if you listen to this on the YouTube. Please, thumbs up. Subscribe, because that stuff matters. I know I'm the last person you should be hearing this from, but the algorithm is king. So
Algo.
Yeah. In your travels, let me just move these books a little bit over here, because I received something recently. It's amazing when a book pops out of nowhere, seemingly nowhere, and this book is one of the most cherished books in my entire library.
Okay.
It's not only, it's a book, but it's also an art object. It's a hardcover. You can hear. Great paper. It has a textured canvas cover. Whether it's real or not is whatever, but it has weight, it has texture. It's a tactile experience as well as a reading experience. It is just absolutely amazing. It's from Perfectly Acceptable Press. And the name of this thing is, let me just, because I'm going to screw up her name and I don't want to do it. It's called Grand Electric Thought Power Mother by Lale Westvind. And I received this from Desert Island in the mystery mail this month. And this thing just twisted my head off my neck. It's an amazing, amazing experience. Westvind, I liken to her to artists like CF and Carlos Gonzalez, where the actual process of making the art, the little marks that are made on the page where that would be shunned in mainstream comics, like random lines that go out of the panel, or little sniggly bits that pop up in the scan, overlapping lines like panel borders where they don't meet exactly in the corner, so it's the process is inextricable from the art. I mean, that sounds stupid. How else do I say that? But the process of creating this stuff is as important as the marks and the story themselves. It creates this atmosphere, this environment that is unique to Westvind and the artist. The Josh Bayer does it all the time. To some people's eyes, it may look messy. Or that art needs to be cleaned up. Bullshit. Like that's part of the creative process. It should be seen in there, I think, anyway. Westvind stuff, there are concepts great and small in this book, and there's each story is there's commentary in the back from the creator as to what went on. This is a collection of small press, self-produced comics over a period of time. Let me see what the actual years of production are: 2014 and 2017. So, so what's it about? You're asking. Well, Westvind's writing is akin to poetry. There are words and sentences that exist not only as words and sentences, but they're triggers, right? It's a poetic approach to narrative, where the words and the images in combination trigger concepts that are not explicit. Maybe, as far as poetry, the words are very carefully chosen, and that applies to this too. But, it's like song lyrics. Sometimes you read the lyrics to a song like, what the fuck are they saying here? The words are image generators or narrative keys or cues to something else. My wife's bowling upstairs. It's a great thing. I think she's brilliant. I think, and it goes from the concepts of being and oneness and existence and the multiverse and traversing existence. And then there's girls with guns and monsters and robots and sci-fi, traditional sci-fi stuff. But it's all presented in a way that is unlike anybody else. It's dirty, it's raw, it's gritty in some spots. Other spots, she has a finesse that's just amazing. I see the op art of the 60s in here. Like Victor Moscoso, some of the stuff reminds me of his work. It's amazing. And it came out of nowhere. It just, the Desert Island people just say, hey, we're going to give this month. And I was like, in addition to an issue of King Cat, comics. But I will go back to this book countless times. This is never leaving my possession. I think it's one of those things that each time you revisit it, it's going to reveal something else. And I know that's a pat answer and it's silly, but this book unravels. You don't just read it; you like unravel it and try and get it at what's going on. It's amazing. It's an amazing friggin' book. It's a book. It's an art object. It's mine. And thank you, Desert Island, for however long you exist. I hope something good comes of their current situation. You guys heard about it, right?
No.
Well, somebody, apparently, I don't know if this is their landlord making up bullshit to get higher rent from them, but somebody came in and offered double the rent on the space. And they were, what business can weather that kind of a hit where your rent is now doubled? So I think from what I've read that they're going to be no more very soon, but maybe something will happen where, they could relocate.
I understand why they can't just relocate.
I don't know the entire situation, but it doesn't look good for Desert Island. And that sucks because I think they're one of the best. And I look forward to the mystery mail every month. Sometimes, like last month, not so great. We got 4 issues of Pee Pee Poo Poo, and it was like, okay, you win some, you lose some, right?
I think some people will consider that a win.
Oh, for sure.
You're
yeah.
the anomaly there.
Maybe. But, Grand Electric Thought Power Mother by the awesome Lale Westvind. Get it. Find it. Perfectly acceptable press. Whatever it costs you, I don't know. I think it's maybe like a $40 hardcover. It's absolutely well worth every penny.
Nice.
It's almost like a big cartelorama because you can get it from the secret headquarters.bigcartel.com as well.
Yeah. I think many of these issues were risographed.
336 pages. Holy crap.
No, it's a monster. It's big.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And
great.
I've gone through it once and I'm just crazy to go through it again. Like when something clicks with me, I will just keep going back to it and just try to unravel what makes it work, what makes it tick. And with Westvind stuff, that's not exactly easy. So yeah, you're going to have to invest in this, not only to buy it, but you're going to have to invest your consciousness into this book because you're going to struggle with some stuff, but it's worthwhile. I think she's way, way up at the top of my list of artists that I really, really admire.
Nice.
Yeah.
That looks great. Damn. In your travels, I will make this quick, only because it's been a minute since it's been out, and I just finally finished it. But the Kneel Before Zod miniseries wrapped up with the 8th issue. This was, of course, written by Joe Casey, art by Dan McDade, colors by David Barron. The after Zod lost his family and his planet, he made his way to a ship full of prisoners, overtook that vessel, basically becoming the de facto captain of all the prisoners. And then they were basically kind of caught. They were also fighting Empress Eye for a little bit, but they seem to have been stranded trying to find a basically a friendly port. They were able to find spare parts so that they could get things going again. And then, of course, Sinestro kind of puts himself in the mix. He and Zod, Sinestro and Zod, come to an agreement of sorts. And then our villain goes about his merry way, while also dealing with more hallucinations of Jor-El and trying to eradicate that from his memory. But it looks like we're probably going to this. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know where we're going with this after this, but it definitely, their travels are going to get them to Kundia, because he's got to basically rip out the heart of the Kund Empire, because that's the race that made his life a living hell in recent months. So he's planning some ultimate war, and then of course they will all kneel before Zod. But that's the end for now for this series. So I don't know if we're going to if it's going to kind of just stay with Zod, or if this is going to spill out into another event in the near future. But I thought it was an entertaining 8 issues. I haven't read Sinister Sons, or which is basically Zod's kid and Sinestro's kid, basically like the anti-Super Sons. So I don't know what the kids are up to, but this was good. It definitely gave you a little bit more to learn about Zod, and how he's not just some he's he's not like Doctor Doom, he's not like Lex Luthor. He's got his own issues, obviously, and some of it, I'm sure he's not going to admit fault for anything that he's done. It's probably all going to be because of the L's and because of Jor-El and everything that they've done. And now I got to go after his son. But the art was fantastic. I thought Casey's story was fun. But yeah, I just it was one of those things where I started it because I didn't know what to expect, and ended up having a lot of fun with it. And now that it's wrapped up, I thought it was a pretty solid story. There wasn't really any issues that were just kind of filler to make sure that it lasted 8 issues. Every issue pretty much served a purpose, so I ain't complaining about that. And the covers by Jason Sean Alexander were pretty spiffy too. But yeah, in your travels, I don't know if I haven't pretty sure I haven't checked to see if the collection's been solicited. But yeah, if it is, and you're looking for some more McDade after the recent Dark Horse miniseries, then definitely check out Kneel Before Zod.
Always room for more McDade.
It's true.
Nice. Gotta show some love to our Booze Living the Line books again. It's time to give them some more love. We're going a little bit in the Wayback Machine, though, as I catch up on their catalog. And this is in your travels. Check out The Exile, written and drawn by Eric Creek. Eric is a Dutch illustrator, and this book was inspired by his mother's heritage. She's of Viking lineage. She's Icelandic, and it is a story set in the 10th century. The titular exile, is a Viking named Halstein Thordson, and he's been exiled from his home for 7 years and returns. And when he returns, all is not well. His dad is dead. His stepmother Solvig and brother Otar are barely hanging on to their land because they don't have a protector. And there's a dude named Einar who is trying to acquire their land in multiple ways. He's beseeching it like on the edges by like stealing wood from them, but at the same time, like he's wooing her and offering her his hand in marriage. It's a whole thing. It's dramatic. But Hallstein comes back, and pretty much no one's happy to see him because he's been exiled. I won't get into why he's been exiled, but nevertheless he steps in because family's family, blood thicker than water and all that. And we get into a good old fashioned badass violent encounter between two sides fighting over land. It was interesting to see how this book was described by Living the Line, because as I read it, I thought, oh, this is like, it's a Viking story, but it's more like a Western. Like it's paced, and the characterization and the arc is pretty much like a Western. And then sure enough, that's what Eric was going for. So I guess he was successful. He said it was his attempt to create a Viking Western. And I think he absolutely did that, because that's what I thought of the book before I read his interpretation of it. Creek's style is beautiful. He works with a very limited color palette, essentially like tons of black, like just solid black, one tone of gray, white, and then blood red. And that's all he works with, and it looks incredible. It's hyper illustrated. There's a ton of line work on the pages, but there's also like a graphic quality to it in a way. Really liked it. Really thought it was a terrific. Living the Line is, as we keep saying, they're so eclectic, and everything they seem to find is just a home run in the genre that it's meant to evoke. And this is, I think, it's one of the earlier books actually. It came out a year or two ago, but definitely worthy of praise as well. It's a beautiful oversized hardcover and readily available at any place you're going to get your books. So check it out. Eric Creek's The Exile.
There are 4 letters in my man's whole name.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, not counting a middle name if he's got one, but yeah. It looks great.
Yeah, I think his middle name is Kyer, so we're good.
Oh, awesome. See? All works out.
No, I'm kidding. But it should be, though. It should be.
By the way, this is solicited in this month's previews.
Oh, re-solicit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, the old offer.
It was
again.
a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter originally. Then I think Living the Line I don't know if they did the Kickstarter or they picked up the book. I missed it, but then I forget someone on our Slack, maybe a year ago when they first got it, turned me onto it. And I went to order and I couldn't find it anywhere. But then, yeah, like I said, now it's readily in print. So good times.
Nice. There you go, people. Hope you enjoyed this. Come back next time for more comic talk.
Tomorrow for bonus eps.
Yeah. Well, if you're a patron, hopefully you will get another massive dump very soon. If you're going to New York Comic Con, shimmy on up to us. We'll give you a big old hug and we'll talk and go look for back issues and stuff. You know how it is. So do the right thing. Comic shop, online retailer, doesn't matter. Buy some comics, read them, love them, talk about them. Come back next time. We'll be doing the same. In the meantime, say good night. It's not the one I wanted to hit.
Hilarious.
David.
Okay.
That's Phil Collins' crowning achievement.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
That's right.
Good night.
Oh my goodness. It's so weird. You're just smashing buttons now. Yeah, you're just smashing buttons. I'm telling you. Like a kid.
With a toy.
Yeah.
Fuck to and spit on that thing.
I'm taking that one out. That one sucks. I don't like that one.
You're going against Haley Welsh.
Who cares? It's like when dumb people become semi-famous.
Oh my God, Pete! Like, I don't understand the hate for her. It doesn't make any sense.
I think the hatred.
Cute country girl. She didn't ask for any of this. Like, she's a cute country girl who's trying to get a little come up. Good for her.
Whatever. The achievement is negligible. You said something.
Much as fame.
You said something funny. Yeah. We're out of here. We love you so much.
She exists in a year or two.
Hopefully sooner. We love you, people.
God, you're such a hater.
New York Comic Con. See you there. Tell them you love them.
Love them.
I love some of you.
Love you more if we see you this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And don't forget to back Water Racers Kickstarter. Michael Schwartz.
Oh, you got to do that.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. That is yeah, we should have done it earlier, but we'll do it again tomorrow. But
well, let's do it now.
Okay. Well, Water Racers by Michael Schwartz. Kickstarter launched yesterday, and Michael's a longtime EOC Familia member, and it's an all ages book that he's been working on for a long time. I will just say here, the typically quiet island of Crankcliff will roar to life this summer, whether Al wants it or not. He just wants to draw and keep to himself, but can the rest of the kids keep quiet? No, not with the Mangrove Jumps 300 race coming up. The kids are building their water racers, high-powered speedboats with special abilities for a chance to become a member of the local racing team and eventually advance into the prose and explore a greater world. This is a all ages 160-page graphic novel hardcover. And he's going all out, man. There's matte interiors, there's making of gallery, there's all kinds of like OA bonuses if you want to level up and get a commission from him. But yeah, this is definitely something worth your attention, particularly if you're in the market for all ages comics that you can enjoy with your kiddos.
Yeah, because this was a family affair. His kids, a lot of the designs and characters were realized by the kids, but the art's great. We've known Mike for a long time, and it's nice watching his style grow and find that style that you can still tell is Mike, but it's definitely matured. I read the preview he sent, and it's absolutely fantastic. I got a big kick out of it. So yeah, it's definitely it was back this morning, and seems to be on its way to being funded if the momentum continues. So definitely.
There we go.
Yep.
Keep that momentum going, people.
If you want to read something into which an artist put their heart and their soul, then buy this. If you're an asshole, then don't.
Okay.
No, just saying.
Aggro, but okay.
Well, that's me. We're out of here. We love you so much. Bye.
That's it for that one.